tutorial for those of you who are completing the PDHPE assessment task on social media. So I'm going to show you how to use Canva, not only to design your Instagram posts for the assessment task, but also to add the comments and all the other little things that you would normally see on Instagram. If you don't know how to log into Canva or you've never used it before, I want you to go back and watch the other video that I've made on logging in and signing up, and then you can come back to this one. So once you're logged in, we're going to create a design, or you can search in this box here for a type of design. So basically, if we click create a design, you're looking for the one that says Instagram post. Now, we don't want to use the portrait one, and we don't want to use the one that says Reels. We just want to use the Instagram post, and we're going to click on that, and Canva will create a blank canvas for us. So this is our blank canvas, and at the side here are some templates that we can use. Now, if you're not a confident designer, that's totally fine. Canva has a lot of tools that you can use that kind of do all the work for you. It's really, really easy. Your task does ask you to use some original images that you might have to actually take and then upload, and I'll show you very quickly how to do that as well. So first off, we're going to start with a template. I always like to start with something that already exists and then customize it myself. So I'm going to just scroll through here. Now you'll see that some of these have a little crown in the corner, and when you hover over it, it says Pro. Now that means that you can't use those because they're for the Canva paid accounts. You can use anything else though. So for example, let's see what's down here. Now, this is a good starting point. So I'm going to click on this one, and it is going to load up all of the images into my canvas here. Now you'll see that there are some things in the background that have some kind of cross-hatching through them. That's because Canva has watermarks on a lot of the stuff that it does. If I change it to a different one. So this one doesn't have any of those watermarks. It might be a little bit easier for you to use. So for example, what we might do is we might want to start by changing the background image. And to do that, it actually does highlight for you things that you can do. You can either edit the image and put some effects in, or you can use anything over here in this Elements tab. So if I click on Elements, I can search for photos of, young women, for example. And we have some photos and we have some graphics, and these are really, really great. But again, anything with a crown is going to come up like this, with the little lines across it. So you want to avoid those. So I'm going to try this one. Now, I kind of like that. If you want to crop it, you double click on it and just kind of drag it down. All of the things that you can do with a picture or with text or anything that you're using will come up here. So you can change all of these things. Now, I might really like that photo. That's great, but I really don't like this color. So if you click on each of the elements, you will see that there's different things that you can change about them. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to change the color. I think I'm going to change it to maybe that color. That's better. And again, you can just keep changing things. You can delete things. So once you click on them, press delete and it will go away. If you've made a mistake, come up here to the undo and it will fix it for you. Now, say I don't like any of this. I'm going to draw, so click and drag and highlight all of that, and then I'm just going to delete it, and I have a blank canvas. I could then use one of these images, like this one, and make it a little bit bigger, and use that as the main image for this post. And I might change it to mental health matters because that makes a little bit more sense. And you can get rid of anything that you don't like. But if you do want to keep the text, just double click and you can edit any of that text. You can also change the font. So if I like this text here, but I want to change the font a little bit, we come up here and we can change it to something else. You can also change the size and the color, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff you can do too. Now, if you would like to upload your own photos, we're going to come over here to this Uploads tab. Now, you can take a photo on your camera, you can save a photo from Google if you like. You have to save it, you can't just copy and paste into Canva. But once you've got that photo saved, you can click Upload Media and find something that you like and then upload it, and it will appear here. Then you can just drag and drop it into your image. You can do anything that you like. The text tab is the next one down. If you want to add some text, that's where you click. And under More, there's a bunch of other stuff that you can do, which we probably won't need for this particular task. Now, when you are happy with the way that your post looks, you need to add a comment and you need to add some hashtags. You need to make it look like an Instagram post. And this is how you're going to do that. So you're going to come over here to this comment button. And if we click on that, it makes a little box for us. That box is where you're going to put your comments and your hashtags and your kind of mentions, anything else that you want to add to make this look like a real Instagram post. So we might say that Friday is Mental Health Matters Day. Hashtag Mental Health Matters. Okay. If you are going to use things like hashtags or you're going to @ somebody, then you need to make sure, blue dog, you need to make sure that these make sense for the post and for your assessment task. Obviously, the comment should match the picture and that should work with the kind of message that you're trying to send. Once you've written everything in here that you really want to, you press comment, and now it sits just to the side of your image. Now, obviously, you need to have more than one image in your assessment task. You need to have more than one post. So if we want to add more posts, we don't have to make a new file. We don't have to recreate this file. What we do instead is we add a page. You can do that in two ways. So you can come down here and click Add Page, and it will make a new one for you. Or you can copy the page by clicking this button here, Duplicate Page. And it will copy it exactly the same down here. That might be useful if you want to keep all the same colors and the same text, but you want to change the image. So if I went back to Elements, I might use something like this one, Next. Or if I'm trying to convey a different idea, I might search for something else and try that instead. So this is a really good one. Okay, so you can add anything just by clicking on it from the sidebar. If you don't like that, you can add something else. And to resize, you just make it bigger or smaller and move it around to where you want it to be. You can also move the text and you can turn it around if that's the sort of stuff that you want to do. But what I would recommend is whatever you've done in your first couple of images, try to keep the colors and the content kind of similar so that it all matches and works together, because it's all sending one message. So once I'm happy with this one, again, I'm going to go to the comments and I'm going to add my comment in there that is relevant and that mentions things that make sense. Now, let's say you finished your assessment task. You're ready to send it to your teacher. You do not need to download it. You do not need to do anything fancy really, because Canva is saving your work constantly. And that's what this little cloud with a tick means. It means that all your changes are being saved constantly. The first thing that you should do is come over here and change the name of your file. So I'm going to change it to my name and then PDHPE assignment. Oops. And that's just so that your teacher can actually identify who this belongs to. That's really important. Then I'm going to come over here to the share button and I'm going to come here to share a link to edit and press copy link. Now I'm going to take that link and I'm going to put it into Google Classroom or email it to my teacher, depending on what they've asked you to do. If your teacher has asked you to submit it on Google Classroom, You just need to copy this link, paste it into Google Classroom, and post it to them. Same as if you were doing it in an email, you would copy the link, open up your emails, get your teacher's email address in the To section, and then paste the link into the body. And that's how your teacher will have access to your task. If you're not sure if your teacher has received your task, just ask. You can also, just to back yourself up, in the share section, you can send a copy of the link via Google Classroom or via email, but you can also type your teacher's email address up in here. And that way you've backed yourself up and your teacher will definitely have a way to retrieve your assessment task. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me, Miss Seisanis, or your classroom teacher. You can email me, or you can always just try messing around with Canva. There are very few ways to completely ruin things with this app. That's why I like it. You can't really, completely mess things up. So try things out. The undo button is your best friend, and it saves automatically, so you'll never lose your work. Thanks, everyone.